Good evening, world. This is Ivan Mayer here again. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Excuse me. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And what? Ivan, why are you waking up? Why are you making it so late? Because I had a what? I slept for a very long time. Because yesterday, I told you, yesterday, when I was resting in my bed, I couldn't sleep. I went to bed at 9 o'clock yesterday. And I rested in my bed till like 4 o'clock and I couldn't sleep. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? And I made the video around 4 yesterday, if you guys remember, obviously, and I was a little tired. You know what I'm saying? I watched the video, then I went to the store, I got my beer and my smokes. Got my beer and my smokes. Then I stayed up, obviously, and I made my video earlier this morning around 3:30. And then while I was watching it, I was passing out. I was passing out while I was watching it. I was like falling asleep, man. I watched the whole thing, but like sometimes I was falling asleep while I was watching it. Obviously, because I was tired. Because the day before, I didn't sleep. Because VJ was crying, was annoying, and I couldn't sleep. And then once the videos was done, I shut my lights off and I went into my bed and I just passed out. Went to bed at like 6:30 this morning. I just passed out on my bed, man. Passed out on my bed, when I woke up and I saw the time was 4 o'clock. Holy shit! I passed out. I heard VJ's crying, obviously, but like today VJ's I was able to sleep through VJ's crying. I heard her heavy crying, obviously, but I was so tired that I closed my eyes and I just passed. Within like 20 minutes, I passed out. And I looked at the clock and I saw it's four. I saw it was 4 o'clock. I slept for another like hour, then I just woke up now and I got my coffee and I'm making my video now. So today, sorry guys, I will not be able to make a second video around around 9ish around there. Because by the time I end this video, it will be like almost 7 o'clock. By the time I watch the video, it will be like 8:30, 8:40, 9 o'clock. By the time I watch my video, so I won't be able to make a second video. But I might make a video in the morning again, as usual. I might do that instead. Make a video in the morning, early in the morning, like at 3 o'clock. Today I might download Obi-Wan and I'll watch the Obi-Wan series. I have 3 episodes left. I'll watch that. I might watch that. And I want to watch the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I want to watch that. Heard that's a good movie. I want to watch the Batman. You see what I'm saying? I want to watch the Batman. I also want to watch Multiverse of Madness. I heard Multiverse of Madness wasn't that great. Thor: Love and Thunder is on my list too. I also want to watch some of the Marvel shows. I didn't finish Loki. I might check out Loki, Hawkeye, and Miss Marvel. Those are Marvel shows that are coming out on Disney Plus. I might check those shows out later on this year. And I'm excited for that Lord of the Rings show, The Rings of Power. That looks like a sick show. The show doesn't look that great, to be honest. It kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones. It doesn't really feel like Lord of the Rings when I saw the trailer. The Amazon. It looks okay, the Lord of the Rings show. You see what I'm saying? But I know the Lord of the Rings show will be nothing. Not no. I know the Lord of the Rings show will not be as good as Peter Jackson's masterpiece, Lord of the Rings. You see what I'm saying? Because I heard they what? I heard Warner Bros. Does not have the rights for what? For Tolkien's like prequel books, obviously, like Silmarillion, Children of Heron. Those are all like prequels, right? I heard they don't have the rights. I heard they have to rely on the appendices in the books and all stuff for the Rings of Power. You see what I'm saying? Huh? That's why I believe the Rings. You think the Rings of Power show will be good? I think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll be great, to be honest. Judging for what I've seen from the trailer, and you saw the dwarf, the beardless dwarf and all stuff. I'm like, yeah, I think the show will be okay. I don't think it's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? Amazon wants Lord of the Rings to be the next Game of Thrones, but I highly doubt it'll be the next Game of Thrones. But who knows? The show might be good. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I was wrong about. I predicted. For example, remember when I predicted Matrix would do $400 million. I was wrong. The Matrix flopped. It only did like 280 million dollars. The Matrix. It did like, I don't know. It did like 200 million in the box office. The Matrix, 200 or 280 million. It flopped. The movie was made for like $200 million, I think, and the movie lost money. Man, it flopped obviously because I told you the Matrix Resurrection was a terrible movie. I should say so. I was wrong. I predicted Matrix would do 400 million. There's something. I saw the. There's something in my gut that told me the Matrix wouldn't be that good because when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this seems really weird. It doesn't really seem like the original Matrix. You see what I'm saying? And so, but when I said Matrix would do $400 million, I was wrong. I was wrong. The Matrix ended up flopping. You see what I'm saying? When that came out last year in December, it flopped. You see what I'm saying? It flopped badly. So I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm saying, yeah. And Keanu Reeves, what? Keanu Reeves was a star of the movie, and Carrie Moss was a star of the movie. The movie still flopped. That's how you know. Don't hate me, A-list actors. That's how you know even the big A-list actors can have flops too. You know what I'm saying? Or they have flops in their careers too, obviously. A-list actors have flops in Hollywood too. They're not me. Whereas none of my movies will ever flop. All my movies are gonna gross their billions because I'm that fucking special. That's why none of them are worth my royalties. Yeah, Ivan O'Mara is the only one who we don't have to worry about our movie or the movie flopping. No, man, you have stability. Hence why all the actors want to be in my movie and they want to work for me for the rest of their life because they know as long as they're in my movie, they don't have to worry about the movie flopping. The movie will be successful, obviously, very successful, and their career feels like it's worth a lot. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But I told you, even though AS actors have flops, AS actors are the ones who could deliver. They're the ones who could deliver and make profits for the companies. You see what I'm saying? The AS actors have star power; they can sell their movies well. But they trust me, even AS actors have quite a bit of flops too. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But my point is, they're the ones who can have star power. They can sell their movies. Whereas the B actors don't have any lack star power. They have zero star power. That's why whenever they do all these movies, their movies always flop. Whenever they do these independent movies, their movies always flop. They lose money because they don't have star power. You see what I'm saying? They're B-list actors. Don't hate me, guys. They're not. You don't see them on. They're not. They're not big screen actors. They're small screen actors. They're television stars, obviously, and they're iconic for television, obviously. But they're not iconic for film. They're not good for film. Most of them, anyways. Most of them are not good for film. As some of these B actors in the future are going to become A actors. In a couple of generations from now, some of these B actors are going to become A actors. That's how it works. As Hollywood will always choose a select few in the B-list rank and have them be A actors in Hollywood in the future, obviously. You see what I'm saying? The ones who what? You know what I'm saying? The ones who can sell their movies pretty well are the ones who have the higher chance of being A actors, obviously. The ones who can't have a lower chance, but even people who can't sell their movies well can even become A actors too. Hollywood can still take a chance on you, see what I'm saying? Hollywood can still take a chance on the B actors, and some of them will rise to the A rank too. You see what I'm saying? Ivan, how much Beast actors will become Ace actors in the future? I don't know, maybe 1% of them. Because all these Ace actors now, a lot of them are all getting old. Hence, Hollywood's going to have to what? Hire more. They're going to have to choose more Beast actors for the big budget movies. That's why a good, like, I don't know, 0.5%, 1% of the Beast actors who are in Hollywood now are going to become Ace actors in the future. Ivan, who do you think will become an Ace actor in the future? I don't know. Zoe King, maybe? She did what? She did the Kissing Booth. The Kissing Booth was a very successful independent movie. You might see someone like Zoe King become an A actor in the future. Because you guys don't know the Kissing Booth? Yeah, I know the Kissing Booth. Yeah, remember that show, the movie The Kissing Booth? That movie was very, very popular, man. It's one of the most popular shows on movies on Netflix. Romance movies on Netflix. Yeah, Zoe King is a perfect example of a beast actor who had success with her movies, with her independent movies. And you might see her as an A-list actor in the future. I don't know, maybe when she's 40, 38, whatever it is, 37, you see her as a what? As an A-list actor in the future. She's also good for Their Unique too, but I can't really picture her as what? As VJ's best friend Maggie. I think Zendaya's better than Zoe King. Because Zoe King is like 24, 25 now. By then she'll be like 37. She's also really good for what? She's also really good for what? For Their Unique too. Zoe King. You can have her be VJ's best friend if you want, but I think Zendaya is better than Zoe King though. To be honest, for VJ's best friend, obviously. If Zoe King was in my movie, I'd pay her like $2.7 million or something like that for the role. But she's a B actor, obviously. But by then, she might be an A actor. You never know. Because Zoe King's Kissing Booth movie was very successful. Hollywood might look at her resume. Oh my God, look at Zoe King. She did Kissing Booth. Kissing Booth was a hit. Let's give this woman a chance. She might perhaps become an A actor. Because Zoe King is not an A actor. She's a B actor. She did independent movies. I'm saying, yeah, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, hence why none of them are worth my royalties, because I even all my movies, I don't have to worry about my movies being flops. Because I'm the son of God, VJ's the spirit of God, obviously. Yeah, VJ's movies in Hollywood flop, but her career is sabotaged. As I told you, everyone around the world saw her movies, man. VJ's movies did not really flop. Hollywood just sabotaged her career. You see what I'm saying? The doors are locked on her. Just like my channel was a flop, I have 9 subscribers, 3 views, but when everyone secretly behind the scenes tuning in. Hence why I'm going to keep saying is, you guys better fucking enjoy this series while you still can. As once I'm king, I'm taking out the throne. I'm gonna live that billionaire life, and I'm starting Skies. I'm gonna be a famous movie star with VJ. Bigger movie stars than even guys like Tom Cruise and Will Smith. If you thought Tom Cruise's contract he signed for Top Gun was big, nothing compared to the contract me and VJ are gonna sign. Me and VJ are signing the biggest movie contract ever for actor. 60% of all profits. You know what I'm saying? I might try and negotiate for 61%. 61% of the profits. And Amazon takes 39. I could do that. That way I can give guys like Peter Jackson a piece of his nice 1% if you want. If you can do that if you want. Because if I took home 61%, I would gladly give the actors like 0.2% of the profits. I would divide the 1% with the actors' royalty checks. Obviously, but if I take home 60, I will never give the actors a piece of royalties. Because it's too much. Amazon's already taking 40%. But if I took home 61%, I'll gladly give the actors like 0.1%, 0.2. Or not really the actors, but like Peter Jackson, I'll gladly give him his nice like 0.8% of the profits. So he makes his 100 million salary, and he makes his nice 100, like, I don't know, 50, 60 million dollars in royalties. 1%'s like, I don't know, 150, 60, 70 million dollars. So Peter Jackson will make his, I don't know, 200 something million, 260, 70 million dollars Peter Jackson would make for his Zane's movie. And Mel Gibson not give him like 0.5% of the royalties. Obviously, but Amazon will not agree to 61.39. I'll try. Look, man, I'll tell VJ, hey VJ, we can do the deal 61.39 for Amazon. 61.39 for the deal for Amazon. That way we can give Peter Jackson his nice payday for his nice royalty check. If not, I'll just pay Peter his flat salary, his flat $100 million salary, obviously, and I will not give him a piece of the royalties. Obviously, I could pay Peter more money, but like $100 million is good enough for Peter, man. He's walking away with $60 million in his bank, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you want to keep him happy, obviously, because I told you, me and VJ are going to make like $4.5 billion off Zanus. 4.5, perhaps even $5 billion off the movies and merch. We're going to make a lot of money, like 3.5, 4 billion in profit we're going to make. You know what I'm saying? Hence why you could pay Peter more if you want. You can match what he made for Lord of the Rings if you want. Pay him his $180 million. But you have to watch out for your budget, man. Me, VJ, we can't pay him $180 million. We're being stupid with our money. We're already going like $1.2 billion in the budget. I don't want to go $1.3 billion in the budget. That's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Hence why I'm not going to pay him that. $100 million is good for Peter Jackson. But what I might do is I might try and negotiate 61.39% with Amazon. That way I can give Peter Jackson a piece of the profits. I can give him a nice like 1% of the profits. If I took home 60%, I'll gladly give Peter 1% of the profits, and me and VJ take our 60. But if me and VJ take 60, I'm not giving Peter Jackson a piece of the profits because Amazon's already taking 40%. They're taking a big chunk. I'm not going to give him a piece of the profits. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, but if I offered Peter 1% of the profits, he'd be really, really happy, and he worked even harder for me because he knows he's going to make a lot of money off the movie. 1% of what? Peter Jackson's gonna make a lot of money off the movie. Ivan, how much money will he make? I don't know. 1% of the box office profits for my movie, he's making like what? At least 100 like 70 million bucks around there. Something crazy. 180 million bucks with his $100 million salary. He made a lot of money, Peter Jackson. And if I gave him a piece of profits, Peter Jackson would work even double harder for me. He'd work really, really hard because he's making way more money than what he even made for Lord of the Rings. He knows 1% is like almost $200 million in royalties, man. He made his 200 and his $100 million salary. He'll work really, really hard. He's making a lot of money, but I'm not going to give him a piece of royalties. The only way I'll give you, Peter, I'll do my best to negotiate 61%. I'm talking to you, Peter, when you watch this video. I'll do my best to negotiate for 61% of the pie with Amazon. I'll try my best. Chances are they're not going to agree to the deal. They might agree to the deal. 61.39. I might try and push for the deal for Amazon. If I'm able to get that extra 1%, I'll gladly give you a piece of the profits. I'll give you 1% to keep you happy, obviously. And I'll gladly give Mel Gibson a piece of the profits. So I'll give him 0. Mel Gibson's not as big as Peter, so I'll give him like 0.5% of the profits of Mel Gibson. And if I took home 61%, I'll gladly give the actors a piece of the profits too. I'll give them like 0.2, 0.3% each. The highest I'll give the actors is like 0.5% if I took home 61%. So if I took home, if I managed to pull off the deal, 61.39, I can give Scarlett Johansson like 0.2%, 0.3%, 0.2%. I can give Ben Affleck 0.2%. I can give Keanu Reeves like 0.5% or something like that of the profits if you want. If I take home 61%, and then Keanu Reeves will make an extra like $80 million, $90 million. Scarlett Johansson then would get like 40 million, 50 million bucks extra to keep the A's. But I told you, the amount of money I'm paying them is already good enough, as there's no such thing as back-end deals for my company. You know what I'm saying? And there's a high chance it will not be 61.39, as Amazon will not agree to 61.39. They want that 45, and I want that 40. Yeah, I'll try my best, guys, to push for 61.39. I can even try my best to push for 65.35, but Amazon won't agree to that. They're not going to agree with it. Like, Ivan, like, we want a piece of that money, man. They're not going to agree to it. Ivan, we won't agree to 65.35, man. You're being too greedy, Ivan. Realistically speaking, they're only worth like Amazon's only worth like 30% of my royalties, man. Realistically speaking, their deal should be 70-30. You see what I'm saying? The deal should be 70-30. But Amazon will never agree to 70-30 because they're greedy and they want a piece of that. We want a piece of that pie. They have huge overhead costs. They have to pay hundreds of thousands of employees. They're not going to accept 70-30. You see what I'm saying? Because we live in a greedy world. But they might accept 61.39. That's a good deal. It's only 1%, right? They might accept 61, but 1% is an extra like $200 million, man. It's a lot of money. That's why the extra 180, 170 million. That's why Amazon wants a piece of that pie. They want that 1%, obviously. But I'll do my best to. I'll tell VJ, let's start off with 65.35. Let's see if Amazon agrees to that, and then we can try to bring it down to 61%, 62%, 61%. That way we can give Peter Jackson and the actors a piece of the profits. Obviously, if I make 61%, I'll gladly give the actors a small piece of the pie. I'll gladly give the bigger actors a piece of the pie. Obviously, even the smaller A-list actors, I'll gladly give them a piece of the pie. The smaller ones, but the smaller ones, I'll give them like 0.05% or something like that. I'll give them like 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. They get like $1 million in royalties, something like that. The smaller A-listers, you can do that. Not the small A-listers. Only the bigger ones are worth worth your royalties. The small ones get their salary, but high chance I will not be what? I will not agree. Amazon will not accept 61.39. They're gonna want that 40%. Ivan, we're not accepting the deal, Ivan. But I can easily put them in the pickle. Hey, look, man, the deal is 61.39. I get 61, you get 39% of the profits. Obviously, do 61. That way, me and VJ can have room to give Peter Jackson his nice like 1%. You can give Mel Gibson his nice 0.5%, and you can give what? You can give the actors, all the bigger A's actors in my movies, a nice like piece of the pie. The piece of the pie, obviously. So if Will Smith is in that movie, and I agree to the deal is I take 61%, I can give Will Smith 0.6% of the profits, which is what? Which is like, I don't know, $90 million around there. You pay him his rich his rich what $63 million salary, and you give him 0.6% of the profits, which is like $90 million. And then Mark Wahlberg, you can give him like 0.2, which is like $30 million. And Natalie Portman, you can give her 0.1 or something like that, which is like $20 million for the royalties. That way you keep the A's actors happy, obviously. Chris Hemsworth, you can give him like 0.2. You see what I'm saying? Which is like $40 million, $40 million for the royalties. And if I end up agreeing to 61.39, and I offer the actors the money and I give them a piece of my royalties, I am now beating out Hollywood by a milestone, as the profits that the actors are making for my movies much more than the Hollywood movies, because my movies gross way more money than Hollywood. See what I'm saying here? But chances are, I told you, Amazon will not agree to 61.39. Highly doubt it's gonna happen. They're probably gonna want that 40%. But I'll do my best. I'll tell VJ, hey VJ, let's try and negotiate 65.35 with Amazon. Obviously, let's see how they react, obviously. And if they're greedy, then we can try to push for 61.39. High chance I might be able to push for 61.39. I should be able to. Okay, VJ. If you want to compete with Hollywood and you want to keep these directors and big A's actors happy, we could take 61% of the pie, and the 1% is divided with the actors. We can give them a nice 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.6% of the pie. That way you keep them happy, and they take home a huge payday. Obviously, they take home like $100+ million. If Keanu Reeves gets that 5%, 6%, he's gonna take home $100-something million, man. A huge payday. Obviously, Carl Johansson will take home a huge payday. We're all going to take home a huge payday, obviously. But that's only if I take home 61%. If I don't take home 61% and I take home 60%, I'm not giving the actors a piece of the royalties. Zero. They're not getting a piece of the royalties. But if I do take home 61%, I'll gladly give the bigger A's just a piece of the royalties. It just depends how big the guy is. If the guy is like if it's guys like Keanu Reeves, Will Smith, those guys, you can give them like 0.5% of the royalties. A nice 0.5, which is like $80 million+ around there. And the ones who are not as big, you give them 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 around there. Whereas I'm never going to give an actor 1%. That's too much. That's crazy. Peter Jackson's worth the 1% because he's big. He's worth $1 billion. That's why for Peter Jackson, I'd give him the full 1% of the pie. Obviously. So how I'll pay Peter, okay, Peter, how it's going to work is, I'm not going to pay you 1% of what? Like, once I get my first check, I'm not going to pay you 1% of what I made. No, otherwise I'm paying you more than 1%. What you have to do is you have to wait until all the sales are done. Okay, Peter, once all the sales are done, obviously, I don't know, once 2-3 months go by and the buzz died down, everyone around the world bought the movie, the amount of money me and VJ made, me and VJ calculate 1% of that. And that money goes to Peter. That's how it works. You don't take 1% of each royalty check, monthly royalty check. No. Otherwise, you're paying him more than 1%. You see what I'm saying? You have to wait until all the 4K Blu-ray movies are sold. I don't know, 2 months go down, the buzz dies down, no one's buying the 4K Blu-ray movies anymore. And you calculate the 1% of what? 1% of what? 1% of the total sales. 1% of not 1% of the sales, 1% of the profits. I know Peter Jackson gets like $200 million, whatever it is, and you take $200 million from your royalty check. You know what I'm saying? You put it into the business account, and the account punches in Peter Jackson's 1%, and the royalty checks gets deposited into his account, and his agent takes 10%. Don't forget that. So Peter Jackson takes $180 million home. His agent's taking $18 million of that money, and the rest goes to Peter Jackson, and he gets a nice fat paycheck, obviously. My deal for Amazon will be 61.39. That way I can pay what? That way I can pay Peter Jackson his royalty checks. Because the only way I'll ever give the actors a piece of the pie is if I take home 61%. I'll gladly give the actors a piece of the pie, obviously. The 1% is split with the actors. And then me and VJ take our nice 60%. But if me and VJ only take 60, I'm not giving the actors a piece of royalties, zero. But I told you there's a high chance Amazon will not accept 61.39. They're probably going to push for 40%, but I'll try my best to push for. I'm not going to do 65.35. I'm not going to do Amazon like that because they're not going to accept that deal. Though Amazon has a lot of costs. They're able to distribute my movies worldwide. Obviously, 65.35. I'm being a bit greedy. Obviously, Amazon will be like, Ivan, you're being greedy, man. You know what I'm saying, but I'm worth the 65.35. You see what I'm saying? Huh? I'm worth the 65.35. If I took home 65.35, I'll gladly give the actors a piece of the pie. Well, I'm not going to be stupid and give like 3 actors like 1% each. No. I give them like 0.2, 0.1% or something like that of the pie. The actors now, which 0.2% is like 45 million bucks. It's fucking a lot of money, obviously, for an actor in Hollywood. See what I'm saying? Huh? I could negotiate with Amazon 61.39 with Amazon. That way I can give Peter Jackson his 1% of the royalties, obviously, to keep him happy. Obviously, he's gonna take home, I don't know, $200 million in profits, and he also makes his $100 million salary. He's made like $300 million off Zanus. That's more than how much he made for Lord of the Rings, obviously. You can do that to keep him happy, obviously, and that way he works even more harder for you, double harder for you. You see what I'm saying? Huh? And I can give Guillermo del Toro a deal. I can give Guillermo del Toro like 0.01% of the pie or something like that to keep him happy. Pay him, that's like $1 million, $2 million. You can do that for Guillermo del Toro if you want. Okay, Peter, you take home about 1%, and I'll give Guillermo del Toro like what? Like 0. I'll give Guillermo del Toro like 0. What? 0.0 like 3% or something of the profits. He takes home like $2 million. You know, of the pie to keep him happy, because he's your executive producer, you can give him a what? Obviously. And if I do take home 61%, I can even give guys like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni a piece of the profits too. You can give them like 0.1% if you want. I take home like $18 million. If I take home 61% of the pie, I'll be able to give even my what? Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni like 0.1 2. I can give John 0.2. I can give Dave Filoni 0.1% of the profits if you want. If I take home 61%, like, okay, VJ, if we take home 61%, the 1% we can use that to pay the directors, the actors, the royalty checks, and even our members of our 7 team. We can give Jon Favreau like 0.2%. I'll gladly give Jon Favreau 0.2% if I take home 61%, more than 61%. You get your nice $34 million signing bonus. You get your rich salary, and I'll give you 0.2% of the profits, which is like, I don't know, $35 million or something like that. I'll gladly give J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and the Russo brothers a piece of the pie. You see what I'm saying? But the Russo brothers and them and like Dave Filoni, I'd give them like 0.1%, which is like $20 million. It's a good paycheck. That's a good deal for them. Considering you and VJ are taking home 60% of the pie, and you can easily divide the 1% with the actors and your 17. Whereas the other five, I can give them a piece of the royalties too, but I would give them like 0.3%. Give them like a $2-3 million $2-3 million worth of the profits. The other 5, you can do that for them. That way, you keep them happy and they make more money for themselves. Considering Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are making way more than the other 5, you can give the other 5 like 0.03% of the pie or something like that. 0.01%, which is like a couple $1 million. You can do that for the other 5. That way they make more money for themselves and you keep them happy, obviously. Considering you and VJ are making your nice, I don't know, me and VJ are going to make $4.55 billion off Zanus. We can take 1% of that of our money and divide it with what? With the 7 team and the actors. So I can give Peter Jackson 0.7 million or something. 1%'s a bit too much. I can give him 0.7 million, 0.7 of the profits. Peter Jackson, he's taking home like 100, like, I don't know, $30 million, $20 million, and you can give Jon Favreau 0.2%. Obviously, you can give Dave Filoni 0.1, and you can give what? you can give what? The secretaries in them like 0.01%. 0.001%. Not 0.1%, no, 0.01%. You give the secretaries and the other three, which is like a couple $1,000,000 in their bank. It's like a nice, like, I don't know, $4 million for them. It's a nice paycheck for them. That way you keep them happy. Considering I'm paying Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni way more than the other five men. Because I'm only paying them a $500K bonus and $2 million salary. To keep them happy, you can give them like a nice like 0.01% of the profits. The secretaries and the what? And the other three. Okay, I'll give you guys 0. I'll give you guys a $500,000, $300,000 signing bonus. And I'll what? And I will and I'll give you a nice signing bonus, obviously. And what? And you get your rich $1 million salary, your rich $2 million salary, your $250,000 bonus after filming, obviously. And I'll give you 0.01% of the royalties, which is like a couple $1,000,000. I don't know, $3 million, $2 million, around there, right? $3 million around there. 0.01% is like $2-3 million. That way you give them a nice payday. Okay, you get your nice yearly salary, and you also get your nice profit of the royalty checks. Profit, you get your nice 0.01%. They make a nice like extra $3-4 million for themselves, which is nice. Which is a nice paycheck for fucking secretary and the other three, and they'll work harder for you if you do that. Obviously, yes, I know they're not worth my royalties, but I'm generous. I'm generous. If me and VJ make more than 61%, I'll gladly give them. I'm only gonna take 1% of my money, and I'm gonna divide it with the actors, directors, and the 17. That's it. I'm not going any higher. If you think I'm gonna give each of them 1%, you're crazy. That's since they rip me off. They're not worth that. But you can take 1% of your money and divide it with the 17 and the actors and all the what. That way everyone benefits well, man. Because I told you the amount of money me and VJ are making is embarrassment of riches. You see what I'm saying? So even though, because me and VJ are gonna make our nice like 4.5 billion, I'm saying 5 billion off Zaynus and the posters. So if you give Jon Favreau a nice 0.2%, he made a nice what? A nice, I don't know, $30 million for himself. An extra $30 million for himself with his salary. That's a good paycheck for Jon Favreau. Obviously. As Jon Favreau, if I give him 0.2% for all my movies, he'll be making what, like 64, 65 million plus for all my movies, man. Almost 70 million for all my movies. Because 0.2% is like what? Like about 35 million bucks, man. So Jon Favreau was making a lot of money. And Dave Filoni, I'll give him 0.1, which is like 20 million bucks, 22 million bucks, around the 23 million bucks. It's a good paycheck for him. But consider Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are your co-executive producers. Give them a nice piece of the profits. Obviously, give them a nice 0.1, 0.2%. Only if I agree to Amazon agrees to 61, 30, 61, 30, 39. I'm gonna start my count here.